Yo, what up, YouTube? This your man Traxx from Legion Motor Group, and I want to welcome you to the winner's circle. This is tuned by Evo Powersports. Let's go.
Bad tires in the centers. Thank God I'm a swimmer. Thank God for this dinner. Thank God I'm a winner.
What up, YouTube? This your man Traxx from Legion Motor Group, and I want to welcome you to the winner's circle. Today, exclusive interview with King of Hammer's own, Scottie Lawrence from Rival Motorsports. How you doing?
Good, man.
All right. So, one, I want to thank you for taking the time to interview with us today. It was awesome. We watched all the footage on the King of Hammers, man. Just go through that for us. What was it like and what was the experience?
King of Hammers is an experience unlike anything else, really. Unless you do it, you're not going to know what it's like. We can tell you stories about it. Right. We can show you pictures, videos, but until you go out and do it, you really can't explain it.
Okay. So let's back up a little bit. So how did you get involved with racing and how did that all come about?
Well, I've always been a huge fan of racing and off-road racing specifically. When I was younger, I really enjoyed ATV racing. Okay. Some of the guys that I looked up to would be like Doug Gus, Tim Farr. You know, they were huge back in the ATV racing, early 2000s. I never really got a chance to get into it too much. Had family members, a cousin that raced, okay. So I enjoyed going to his races, and I owned dune buggies when I was younger, Volkswagen engines. I've always been, it is old school, yep. You know, tube chassis. I built a Volkswagen engine in my bedroom. My dad come downstairs one time and he's like, what is going on here? And I'm just building an engine, trying to figure this stuff out, you know? So really just having a passion for motorsports has gotten me to where I am, just self-taught and just love everything about off-road racing.
Okay, all right. And so you represent factory Can-Am, correct?
Yep.
All right, so how did all of that come about? 'Cause that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, been really blessed to be with factory Can-Am. They help my race program tremendously. You know, I own Rival Motorsports.
Okay,
so,
right here in Thornville,
yep,
Ohio, right?
Thornville, Ohio. Little Thornville, Ohio. So, okay. A lot of people don't realize, but there's a lot of fast guys in Ohio.
Okay.
And,
I name a couple. Not to put you on the spot, but.
Well, if we're talking about ATVs, you know, back in the day,
okay.
Jason Luberg, about 30 minutes from here in Zanesville.
Really?
A really fast guy, and he actually transitioned to side-by-sides as well. He's super fast on the track. I mean, he's always a threat to win any race he's in. About 15 minutes from here towards Columbus, we got Kyle Chaney.
Oh, so that your racing partner in the King of Hammers, he's from Ohio?
Yeah, just a few minutes down the road here. Oh, so, yeah, he was driving the car that I was co-piloting. Okay. He's factory Can-Am driver as well. He's been with Can-Am probably longer than anybody else in side-by-sides that I know of. But he's had a huge impact on what I've been able to do, helped me tremendously. But yeah, here, you know, being with factory Can-Am has given me the ability to have access to information, probably more than anything. But the way it all started was, you know, owning Rival Motorsports. We're a Can-Am off-road dealer, and I have always liked racing, so I help guys out that race. Got involved with the race department that way, you know, getting people into cars that needed cars, doing whatever I could just to help people out.
Okay, so is this the original site of Rival? No, this is, you have an immaculate store. It's clean, it's well lit, it's definitely inviting when you walk through the door, for sure.
Yeah, this is something that we worked on for, you know, the idea for about a year before we actually started building. But this is not the original location, so we were just a couple hundred yards away from here. Okay. Very small store where we weren't really selling a whole lot of units. We did a lot more service for people. Okay. And we were still really trying to help guys out that were racing. In 2015, that all kind of changed when we picked up the franchise.
So you guys work on, because the franchise of Can-Am also includes Sea-Doo and Ski-Doo, correct?
So BRP is the company that owns all of those other brands.
Okay.
So really BRP is kind of the mother company. You know, Sea-Doo's #1, Ski-Doo's #1, Can-Am, we're working on getting up to #1.
Okay.
I really feel like they have the best product on the market right now. We just gotta get the public to start realizing that.
And you said there's been others who have helped you out along the way. So what other companies? I know, well, Evolution Powersports, obviously, they're, you know, of course, the sponsors of this segment. But who else aside from Evo, who has, you know, given you some help and hands along the way?
Well, Can-Am and XPS, they're probably my main sponsor.
Okay.
They've been huge. And then of course, Rival Motorsports Can-Am. I mean,
Right.
you know, if it wasn't for this business, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. I got a great group of guys that work for me.
You got some racers that work for you too.
Yeah, we got a couple of racers. Jeremy Wallace, he's
Sweet.
one of my technicians, and you know, he won the AXCC Pro Stock Championship this year.
Okay. Right. You got to put the power down. So, you know, what tires do you recommend for new riders?
I mean, it really depends on what type of racing you're doing.
Okay.
I'm still working on a tire sponsorship this year. We're waiting on rules to be released. We don't know what's going to happen, so I chose not to lock myself in this year to one specific tire, but in the past, I've always ran Maxxis. I mean, Maxxis makes a great tire.
How frequently are you on the road racing?
When we get full on into race season, 2 weekends out of the month, we'll be going racing. This time of year, once a month, kind of easing into it a little bit. And then, you know, we put a lot of miles on. You know, King of Hammers, 30 some hours away from here.
And when you're away, how does that affect like family life and time spent with the kids? And
My kids actually race the short course series,
Oh, nice.
so they get to go with us to those. They love going to the racetrack.
that's a nice little family environment.
It is, you know, they have a lot of fun. It's awesome learning experience for them. Kids can learn so much through racing, just about how to control their emotions, how to focus their energy, how to be diligent and working on things. I mean, you know, kids need to learn how to put some effort in and work, and racing is awesome for that.
Everyone's seen the epic car flip and roll over top of Kyle and all. First of all, is he all right? What's going on? Have you talked to him lately? Or?
Yeah, I talked to him. I know he went to go get checked out. Actually, look who this is walking in here.
Hey!
What's up, Kyle?
How are you?
Kyle.
Good. You want to join in here?
Yeah, join in.
One, welcome, and thank you for joining us. We just mentioned your name. Like, you don't live too far from here.
No, I'm like 15 minutes from here.
15 minutes
Yeah.
from here. Awesome. So, oh, how are you doing?
Good, not too bad. I've had better days. I mean,
Had better days.
Yeah, we've had better days, but could be worse. I mean, I'm sure you saw the video. Definitely could be worse.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was talking to your co-pilot here, and watching the video from afar, it's like the car seemed like it ran over top of you and kind of pinned you into those rocks or boulders and all that. So what was going through your head at the moment?
Well, once we flipped, I knew we had to get the car flipped back over as fast as we could, you know, to stay in contention for the win for the race. And so we got out, and me and Scott gave it everything we could. We could not get the car flipped back over. I mean, we are on the side of a mountain, and I mean, that car's probably 2,000 pounds, and you know, we just couldn't lift it. So luckily, Scott was smart enough to tell me to get the jack to like get it jacked up. So we dug out underneath the.
That was Pro Eagle, right?
It was a Pro Eagle jack, yeah.
Pro Eagle jack.
Yeah.
I love those.
Thank God we had that thing.
Yeah.
If not, we'd probably still be on the side of that hill. But I ended up getting it dug out, and we got the Pro Eagle jack, the CO2 jack underneath of it. We got it popped it up about a foot, and that was enough to get us, you know, the momentum to drive it up the rest of the way. And then once we got it up, it started rolling backwards. My heart dropped. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, if this car catches speed and ends up going down this hill, it's over with. I mean, it's over with. So me and Scott did everything we could do to get it slowed down and stopped, and we couldn't get it stopped, but I knew if I didn't get it at least slowed down, you know, our day was over with. So I mean, I did sacrifice my body a little bit to get it slowed down.
I think it was UTV Guide who reported that you had a fuse blown or something, and So what happened with the fuse situation?
So I ended up getting back in the car, and Scott was still, you know, in the middle of the hill. And when I turned the car on, I had no power steering, and there was nowhere to turn around on the mountain. So I had to drive all the way down to the bottom of the mountain, and then turn around and come all the way back up. And without power steering and those 35-inch tires, it was insanely hard to turn the car. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but everything I had, I couldn't even get the tire to move. Like, it took me probably 3 minutes to get back up the hill with no power steering. And then I got to the top and I had no idea what was wrong. I just told Scott what was wrong, and then Scott went to work trying to find out what was wrong with the power steering fuse while I was sitting there sobbing.
I think what happened is when we rolled over, the impact was so severe and the leverage from the 35-inch tires, it just overamped the power steering motor, and that's what popped the fuse.
What is the communication like in the car while you're racing?
The second half of the race, the communication was terrible because we lost our comms somehow. But, you know, when the race started, you know, we kind of went out, and the biggest thing I think for a co-pilot is they have to trust the driver. Yeah. You know, for 75% of that race, the co-pilot's looking at a GPS screen. You're not paying attention to what's coming up. I'm just telling Kyle when turns are coming, you know, how far out, how much speed we might be able to carry through the turn. And even then, there's no guarantee that that line on the GPS screen is the track that we're running. That's where pre-running comes in and helps a lot. So just trying to remember the track, trying to, you know, talk to the driver, make sure that maybe they're not driving the car too hard. Kyle has an incredible feel for how to keep a car together, so I don't have to worry too much about that. The biggest thing for me is just making sure that we're staying on course, and then in a situation where something happens, just trying to stay cool-headed, trying to just think as quickly as possible about the most efficient way to solve the problem. And we definitely had our fair share of problems in 2020 KOH.
I mean, what was your overall assessment of how well the race went, considering the obstacles you guys faced?
I think the race, aside from you know, us flipping the car, I mean, went probably about as good as it could.
Finished.
Yeah, we finished. I mean, a lot of people race this race, and for years they don't even get to finish.
All right, sweet. Well, thank you for joining us. Welcome back. No problem. And I guess we got to do this then, right? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, cool. I look forward to that. And well, since we're here in Rival, you mind if we do like a little walk around and show what you got? Sure. All right, so what can we expect walking into Rival?
Well, we got a new building here. It's super fresh. We got the full retail environment, so everything is designed to, you know, enhance the customer experience. So we can kind of check it out a little bit so that people come in, they kind of know what they're gonna expect.
So again, this is all Can-Am, all OEM products?
Can-Am off-road only. Okay. So there's not a lot of dealerships that are just Can-Am off-road, let alone a single line of anything. So, you know, we try to do one thing and do it as best we can.
Absolutely. This is a nice store.
Yeah, we got some real nice X3s. I mean, that's the king of the sport.
The turbo,
you know, UTV right
how
now.
many letters are Can-Am going to keep adding to these machines? You got the Turbo R, the RR, I think I've seen the MR.
Yeah, as long as they keep making them better, they can add as many letters as they want. So
awesome.
You know, we sell race fuel. You know, obviously we're into racing, so we keep the race fuel in stock.
BP Racing, Sunoco Racing. What octane are those?
They go up to like 110, some of them is 116, so.
Okay, because those are important for the tunes, right? Like some tunes require certain levels of octane.
Definitely, I mean octane is very critical. If you're not running the right octane, you can really mess an engine up.
Let's talk about this. What is First Place Pro Mod? What is that about?
So that was the Southern Star Shootout, and that was in Texas at the end of 2019. Right. Ended up winning that race, and that locked up the championship in the side-by-side sports series for me.
Okay, so that's what Kyle was talking about.
Yeah, that's the one. That's where I got him.
Okay.
That came along with a kind of a nice check. You can step in there and kind of check it out.
Check it out. Tailpipe or muffler exhaust systems. Yes. Check that out. So to your point earlier, yes, they do more than tunes. Of course, you gotta have the right intake coming in.
Check that one out right there. That to your right, that's the shocker.
Right here.
Yeah, that's
So this
awesome
is
right there.
so this is where the car kind of sputters a little bit.
No, that's the launch control that you're referring to. This right here is a great part because it's a cat delete for one. It frees up the flow of the exhaust.
Okay.
But with this right here, this is what they call the shocker. You got a switch that goes on your dash, and when you hit that button, it opens up this solenoid, and it's just dumps the exhaust straight out. So you get as free a flowing as possible, maximum horsepower.
Okay, so this is they call it a dump pipe, right?
Yep, that's the side dump.
Never seen it in person.
Yep.
Get one on
That's it
Evo
right
Powersports, yeah. Awesome.
Of course, if you get one of those, you got to get a tune.
You gotta get a tune.
Speaking of tunes, I think we need to give away a tune.
We're gonna give away a tune.
Yeah, I think we should give away a tune. So, Evo sponsored this as a thank you to all the viewers. Somebody's gonna get a free tune. So details will be in the post.
All right, well, you heard it from the man himself.
Wow. That's where all the hard work happens, the dirty work.
So as they used to say on cribs, you know, this is where the magic happens, right? So.
RivalATV.com.
RivalATV.com and ask for him and he'll get you right. Talk to you later. We out.